Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the Three Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at 3manblitz. Visit us at www.3manblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, welcome into another episode of the Three Man Blitz. We got Andrew, we got Queasy, we got myself, Jeremy. Today we're going to go over sleepers and busts in the wide receiver position for the upcoming fantasy season. Woo, woo, woo. So, You guys want to take a shot?
No.
Take a drink? Take some beer?
Yes. Cracking a cold one.
Oh, that's right.
You didn't get the top off of it yet.
No, because I got to crack it.
I'm going to take a shot instead.
Me too.
So
I'm with you, bro.
I thought we had a new tradition. I thought we were cracking a cold one.
Well, today was different. I wasn't set up.
Today was so different.
We were supposed to... Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, you'll find out later.
Okay, here we go. Boom, chug it.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, boys. So there's a lot of wide receivers. We're pretty deep this year.
Yeah.
Like really deep. So, again, just to remind everybody, a sleeper is somebody that's going to get drafted really late and will definitely outperform his average draft position. And a bust is somebody that's getting taken way too high, and he's not going to perform to that standard.
Right.
So, who wants to go first?
Oh, what are we doing first? Bust or sleepers?
Let's do busts.
Let's do bust.
Let's talk about the big names first.
All right. So, I'm not going like top 10 or anything with my bust, but he's a pretty highly drafted guy, and my guy for the Seattle Seahawks would be Tyler Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple questions to you guys. Would you rather draft Tyler Lockett or Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs.
Would you rather draft Allen Robinson or Tyler Lockett?
That'd be a tougher one, but probably Allen Robinson.
Would you rather draft Tyler Lockett or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Juju.
Would you rather draft Tyler Lockett or DJ Chark?
Chark.
Oh, he got a great year, Chark.
Okay. All of these people that I just named off are going after Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is being drafted in the fourth round, 9th pick overall, and this is a 12-man, I guess, PPR league.
Gotcha.
This is where I'm drawing these statistics from. So you're drafting this guy in the 4th round, which that would make him your 4th pick overall, your 4th pick. You know, you've got 3 other guys on your team, and potentially, let's say you went running back. Maybe you went tight end. Maybe you grabbed one of these big 3, big 4 tight end guys up there, or even you went high on quarterback and drafted like Lamar or Mahomes. Yeah, that would leave your first wide receiver being a guy like Tyler Lockett when he's not even the best wide receiver on his team. Seattle is a run-heavy team. They like to push the run. That's Pete Carroll's deal. He loves establishing the run, even though his quarterback's Russell Wilson. Yet there's going to be volume. There's going to be production. I mean, not to mention that he's had injury-riddled seasons year after year after year. But Tyler Lockett, like I said, he's not the best receiver on his team. That would be DK Metcalf. That's his name. I don't know why. I always draw a blank on DK Metcalf. But
yes, you do.
He's a beast of a dude, man. Let me tell you. And 4th round is just a little bit too high for me on Tyler Lockett. Maybe 6th or 7th round. But I'm calling him my bust. It's not super ballsy or anything, but you shouldn't take him there.
Good. Yeah, that's not bad. He's getting taken before DK, right? I think looking at their ADPs, they're legit like wide receiver. What I'm looking at is like 18 and 19. What I'm just looking at here.
They're being taken pretty close. I know in our personal draft, DK went before, but I think that everybody's kind of been paying attention to what we've been saying about DK Metcalf. So,
agreed. And I like Tyler Lockett, but
yeah,
I feel what you're saying. Having him as your number 1 receiver is not sexy. No. Not even close. And I don't know. That is pretty early for Tyler Lockett. I'd take quite a few receivers over him. So
exactly, all those guys I just named, I would take. I think all of them over Tyler Lockett for sure,
and more. Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy.
Well, Quizzy, who you got, bud?
Who I got for my bust?
Your bust.
I did go in the top 10. I did probably go into the top 5.
Ooh.
I might even go into the top one.
Bro.
I'm picking my man Julio Jones.
Oh my God!
Oh, good thing I swallowed my beer first.
You're an Atlanta guy,
and I love my. So let me explain this. We're talking about fantasy only because my team I think will do well in being in the Super Bowl. Again, I've said that before numerous times. They will be in the Super Bowl. Right. But it will be his numbers will be down fantasy wise because they've gained so many weapons right now. Of course, they got Todd Gurley, so they will be using him more. Calvin Ridley has stepped up tremendously. Hayden Hurst they have now. So they have a lot of weapons to disperse the ball, so his touchdown ratings will go down. Last year, Julio had 1,400 yards with 6 touchdowns, which is an average year. And on top of that, he started off real slow at the beginning of that year, maybe around the 4th or 5th game, if I'm correct, that he finally got a touchdown because Calvin Ridley was blowing up before then. So I see that same pattern continuing this year, trying to incorporate Ridley. I'm trying to incorporate not only Ridley, but I'm trying to incorporate Gurley earlier on in the season, which may, again, push back the numbers for Julio. So again, this is not a knock on my team at all, a knock on the best wide receiver in the game, top 2. But if fantasy-wise, I think his numbers will be down. He had an awesome year in 2015, 1,900 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was killing that year. But pretty much since then, his numbers kind of tailed off. Still the number 1, still up there, but his numbers still kind of faded on, especially when Calvin really came into the game. And that's just one player, not alone with 2 other players that can take away touchdowns from you.
Yeah, so I feel you on that. Like a lot of his volume, maybe, getting eaten up by these other players where they're, a lot of people are going to try to stop Julio first, right? Mm-hmm. So he's going to be double covered a lot. Yeah. And even if he is getting his receptions, he may not be getting touchdowns. So if you're a PPR league, maybe he's a little bit better. But if you're in a standard league, does anybody play in a standard league anymore, by the way? Mm-hmm. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I'd still take him pretty high.
Definitely will because he's
maybe
one of the best in the game, top
3.
two in the game. You got to take him. You got to take that risk. But it's just me on the outside looking at players. So on paper, it looks that way like it would be take away from him.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm really surprised by your pick, but there's of course going to be the loss of targets where you're looking at Mohamed Sanu went to New England. Yes. And Freeman, he's a free agent right now, as most of you know. But the acquisition of Todd Gurley is sure to eat up some of those targets. Maybe we'll just give him Freeman's share. So I think that even with a skilled guy like Calvin Ridley on the squad, I think that the targets are still going to be there for Julio. But definitely, the touchdowns the past couple of seasons have really bothered me.
Yeah. And again, Sanu pretty much wasn't there for a lot of last year. And Calvin really dominated the beginning of the season, like I said. So it's just looking at a pattern, man. Again, I hope my team does well. I hope Julio does well. I hope he has 10 touchdowns this season. You know what I mean? So
he's gonna have 20, and he's gonna have 4. He's gonna have 4 in the Super Bowl, Queasy.
Shut your mouth. I already see it, man. I already see it.
All right, so we'll move on to my bust. He is just outside of the top 10 being taken, and it's a Cleveland Brown. He is Odell Beckham Jr.
Ooh, gross.
So, OBJ. So, I'm not an OBJ truther. I've had discussions with a lot of people that just love OBJ. I've never been that guy. I know he had a lot of production early in his career. He had the fantastic one-handed grab for the touchdown, or it's right at the pylon, My son even says, throw me an Odell, So he's got the notoriety. He's a popular player, but his last season or 2 in New York was not great, and he's been on a decline ever since. He has not lived up to the billing since he's been in Cleveland. Jarvis Landry, you got him. You got a ton of weapons in Cleveland. Supposedly he's healthy. He has had a lot of injuries to him, and that could attribute to why he's had the decline in production. Supposedly he's healthy, but I just don't buy into it. I'm pretty sure that's what he said last season. And, whatever. And he's being taken as the 14th overall wide receiver. And that's like late third round, I think, is where he's being taken. And that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That's a reach. That's a textbook reach to me. And a lot of people are doing it because he's a big name guy.
Yeah, they're buying the name.
Yeah. And you might, he has the talent to be, a top 3 type receiver. But let's be honest here. Let's look at the trends. Look at the trends of his career. It might go up. It really might. But you'll be a reaching no matter what.
He's definitely getting drafted high, especially because of his name. I would surely use him as a trade bait if I had to grab him real quick. I would surely use him as trade bait because of just because of his name, try to get something else out of that. But I don't think he'll have a good year either.
Yeah, brother. He's all talent and not really any production. No production. So like he'll make the flashy catches and he'll make it look good and this and that. But you're sitting there watching, you're like, oh man, Odell, I got Odell, and you look down at your fantasy app and he just scored you 2 points.
2 catches. He'll have like 2 catches. Yeah. So he may, PPR league, he might have you like six receptions per game, which isn't terrible. He's not like a super bad receiver or nothing. That's why he's getting taken high, and he is talented. But I like consistency when it comes to my fantasy guys. You know what I mean? I need a guy I can rely on week in and week out, especially if he's being taken as the 14th overall receiver. Come on.
Yeah. And to add to this, the main factor we're leaving out of Odell's equation is the quarterback.
Oh, Baker.
Yeah, and if Baker has another horrible season, of course that's going to starts in his hand.
That's true.
That's going to lead to Odell having not help his season at all. Of course. Yeah.
They got a new coaching staff there too.
New coaching staff. Odell's a presence in the locker room, so you're going to be wanting to force feed him at times. So it's going to be a situation, but I can see definitely why you would use him as a bust.
Bust. All right, you want to get into our sleepers now?
Yes, sir. All right. So I'm sure all of you are going to be surprised by this. But, okay. So my team, the Texans, made some terrible offseason moves. No offense, David Johnson. And
they did
terrible offseason moves. Probably going down as like the worst offseason trade in history. And they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, my boy Hopkins. Cactus Hands, as Jeremy likes to call him.
Okay, and he went Cactus Hands in Houston.
Yeah. So they acquired David Johnson. So that leaves a void like you would not believe. 44% of all the targets for the entire season are gone off of out of the Texans receivers. Now, who's going to be the number one for the Texans? It's a big question. But I think I see Will Fuller rising to the top. Now, I know he has trouble staying healthy and this and that. But for 14.3 targets per game that DeAndre Hopkins left behind, and you're taking Will Fuller, the 8th round, 2nd pick overall, I think it's worth the risk because it could definitely pay off. He's shown us he's had huge games where he's blown up for, 40, 50 points, and you're just sitting here, just watching yourself destroy the other team. So if he can stay healthy, Will Fuller is going to be the man to grab. I'm absolutely sure of it. So 8th round, take your flyer. There he is.
Plus, he has the injury concerns, but at that point, you rarely hit on an 8th, 9th round guy anyway. Go ahead and take the gamble because if he is healthy, he's a good receiver. Him and Kiki QT, I think they both got banged up last year. And they had that one game where all 3 of them, including DeAndre Hopkins, had it was like a career day. I can't remember who they were playing.
It was ridiculous.
But it was. I think Deshaun Watson threw for like 580 yards or something crazy and 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. So
my thing is this. I see Fuller like a Deshaun Jackson. So if the pass is under 15 yards, he ain't catching it. And these are deep threat guys, awesome deep threat guys. And so, of course, that's why the numbers jump up, skyrocket like that. And again, hopefully Fuller will stay from injuries and do well and step up, be the number one. But I've always just seen him as a Deshaun Jackson where it was that deep threat in which you couldn't stop, almost like a Randy Moss kind of thing. Just throw it up there and these guys are going to run underneath it and catch it.
You just got moused.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, and another guy that I was toying around with was Hollywood Brown. Plays for the plays for the Ravens.
Yeah.
You know, they're in a weird spot looking for a number one as well, and he's the same type of player, a real speedster. You know, he can burn you going down the sideline. So I kind of look for the same thing in both of these players. But I think Will Fuller has that little extra element to his game to where he can beat guys going vertical and not just going downfield.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of questions about this Texans offense, but, you know, you might as well take a gamble on it and hope that you grab your lottery ticket there in the 8th round, because you absolutely could.
Yeah, and that trade for the Texans was done early enough, let me say it like that, that Fuller can really, get his mind right and adjust to his new situation, to becoming that number one and becoming, third
guy.
Dude, your brain just melted.
Yeah.
Third.
Oh.
I like turtles.
I know we like drinking our drink on here, son, but you're gonna have to cap it.
Yeah, I think it just hit him all of a sudden. Like, oh, okay. So one good thing with Houston, they brought in a bunch of other receivers too. So I'm hoping that they're going to throw a lot of 4 and 5 wide sets out there. And I think they really just did it for like depth, and rotate them out. But I hope they throw them out there a lot, so there'll be a lot of opportunities for Will Fuller in particular, since that's who we're talking about, to actually get that one-on-one coverage constantly, consistently, and be able to make the most of it. So. And,
I mean, there's no receiver on this squad that has as much experience with Deshaun Watson as Fuller. So. Who you got, Queasy?
Queasy.
Third.
Turtles.
I have N'Keal Harry from the Patriots.
N'Keal.
It's my sleeper. I tried to actually pick him in my last draft, fantasy draft, but I missed out on him. But I think he will do well. I think people are sleeping on him, first of all, because of the number one quarterback almost in history is gone, Tom Brady. You're bringing in Cam Newton, who's known as a dual threat quarterback, so you're expecting him to run a lot. But this guy has stepped up. He's the number one pick from Arizona State. He's been working out in the offseason with the same coach as CeeDee Lamb, as Hopkins, as Beckham. So he's putting in the work to be that number one receiver. And also, I think Cam will step up in that situation with the Patriots. And so this seems like a hot spot for him, for Harry to jump into and explode this year as in being the number one wide receiver.
Dude, I feel you on a spiritual level with this one. He's young. He's hungry. His rookie season was non-existent due to injury.
Exactly.
He's probably got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Everybody's sleeping on him. Everybody forgot about him. New quarterback coming into the fold, whether it's going to be Cam or Stidham, which we obviously all three think it's going to be Cam. I mean, like, what's this Patriots offense going to look like? Are they going to throw as much? There's a lot of questions, but I think like the same way with Will Fuller, if you were going to take a grab at somebody, N'Keal Harry is going to be the dude.
Yeah, and to add the other factor to it, of course, you mentioned earlier that Sanu was there at the Patriots. But Sanu has a high contract, and they're planning on trying to trade him. So, again, if they do trade him, that's even more numbers coming towards Harry's way. So he's just in the right spot to get, be very high.
I don't mean to cut you off or like switch gears or anything, but Julian Edelman is also a guy who I feel like is being slept on a lot as well. Right. People aren't necessarily. I know he's older and this and that, but people aren't valuing his major target share the past few years in the Patriots. Definitely. And he finishes like top 20 every year. He's always a dude to grab. But
I think he might be like that Fitzgerald of Arizona, where that real dependable guy on that third down first.
Yes.
And so and help to raise up the other wide receivers that's there, the young wide receivers. So we'll be in a good spot.
Well, N'Keal Harry definitely has a good mentor if he's looking to Edelman.
Exactly.
Advice.
Yeah, and Edelman's going to be taken first, and N'Keal's going to be way down on the list. And I think he's going to have a lot of volume because, for one, like we said, we don't know what the offense is going to look like. But they have had a ton of players opt out of this upcoming season already, and it looks like, for outside looking in, that they're going to be throwing the football a lot.
Yeah,
they may be playing from behind a lot.
Yeah,
and there's been some offensive guys, and like Marquise Lee, I know, and there's a lineman, I think a fullback. There's been a lot of guys. specifically from the Patriots for some reason. But yeah, I'd say you target him really late, and he might pay huge dividends for you.
Yes.
I like N'Keal Harry too, man. He's a big guy. They might even use him a lot in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Big target.
Big old target.
Exactly.
All right, let's slide over to mine. So my sleeper is Deontay Johnson, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's being taken as the 44th overall wide receiver. So of course he's being taken really late. He is a guy that's got all the talent in the world. You know, he's behind Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju's going to be the number one receiver taken. And I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on the Steelers this year on their offense anyway, especially Andrew. I know that James Conner's been, I don't want to say disrespected, but I think just about everybody with James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster, they're acting like Juju's garbage because he had one bad season. Yeah. But they had really bad, it's not below average, they had really bad quarterback play from Duck Hodges and whatever.
Rudolph.
Devlin Hodges and Duck, whatever. So, but now that Big Ben's back, hopefully he's in some kind of, I don't know. Hopefully Big Ben's in some kind of playing shape. I think we all still have that video in our mind where he was a really tubby fella, big old beard, throwing in a gym. It looked like a retired, Little League coach out there tossing the ball.
Looked like laid off Ron Burgundy trying to throw a football.
But I think that he'll come. He'll be back, obviously, and he's got a lot of experience. He's got he knows how to run that offense, and people are just sleeping on the Steelers' offense overall. So
if I may cut you off for 10 seconds, but hey,
you got 10.
last year they had injuries. Big Ben, Juju, Connor didn't play great, and they still almost made the playoffs.
That's true.
So horrible quarterback play with two different quarterbacks. A quarterback getting busted in the head by a helmet. So
that's right.
And still almost made the playoffs. I'm talking about the last game away from the playoffs.
Well, listen, Queasy, I feel you, but I'm in disagreement here because I'm putting that solely on the shoulders of the defense. The defense kept them in games. They didn't score a lot of points,
but they had injuries. But they had injuries across the board.
Their defense was phenomenal. Their defense showed up to play. But that's the thing. Big Ben, we talked about him in our preseason breakdowns when I believe you were the one talking about the Steelers. Going over his injury list, he's had a different injury to every part of his body since he started playing. The man cannot stay healthy. He's old now.
You know what that means, though? That means that he knows how to nurse himself back to health.
I guess so.
How is that going to help you in week 3 when he's out there with a broken spine?
First of all, players are always playing through injuries. It just happens to be that he's been getting injured here of late.
He's like a human game of operation. You know what I'm saying? Where you have all those spots.
No doubt. If you go and look at his injury, you're right. When you look at his injuries, if he were splayed out, on that little medical sheet, it really is
everywhere.
Hands, elbow, shoulder, knee,
knees and
hip,
toes,
neck. But he'll be back, and hopefully they'll do something else with their backup situation, which should have been alarmingly terrible. So do something with that. But you got to put a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. Love that dude. I love him as a coach.
I do.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll get it together, and you'll see the offense run pretty well as long as he can stay healthy.
I do like Tomlin, but, man, I'm saying if you're putting all your faith on Big Ben not getting injured. I remember I watched the game last year, and Mason Rudolph, the entire game, did not throw one pass past the line of scrimmage. They pulled up a chart. So you got to – if they did something better about the backup situation, yeah. And, we're talking sleepers here, so you're taking a flyer on this guy, So when you're drafting him, you're saying – where's it? 44th wide receiver overall? That's probably 12th, 13th round, somewhere real late, right?
Yeah.
So, at this point, you're just saying, man, I think he's good. So we'll see what happens, and kind of grabbing him and stashing him and praying for the best. So I see where you're coming from, but
it's a high upside pick with little to no, you're going to play him. You're not going to play him as a starter right away. So you get to see how they're doing. If they're doing terrible, whatever.
No, you're not giving up a lot.
No, he's been taken super late.
Yeah.
But with his talent, though, and I will say the receivers, they know how to draft wide receivers.
Man, do they?
Steelers do, man.
They do.
He's a good one.
Yep.
All right, boys. I believe that's it for us. Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, go to YouTube and watch. Give us a like, subscribe. Comment down below who you think is a sleeper or a bust for the upcoming season, and let us know if you agree or disagree with our picks and why.
You got a better one than us. Let us know. We want to hear your thoughts on it for sure.
I want to know. All right, boys. As always, go for 3.
Go for 3. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Queasy at RastaLion1131, Jeremy at CheckerboardJ, and me at Jedi Quarterback.